I thought action. Yeah, that's what. We good? All right, bet. Well, let me go. I thought I was waiting on the action. What the fuck? Yo. What's good? What's good, everybody? We're back with episode 2 of the Strangest Fruit podcast. I got my co-host here, Brian.
What up?
Free Bliss, James. And we got something real special for everybody going on today. We have an individual who has not only just been gifted with a second chance, he went and created a clothing line out of his second chance. And not only did he do that, he's still just this amazing person. He's a bad boy on the computer stuff. He done taught me how to play video games. You know, after about 20 years, I didn't know how to play anything. He sat me down and had to show me how to play that. He's not only that, he's a role model. He's a father. He's a pillar of his community. He gives back, and he still wants to give back, and he's going to do so. So we got my man Xavier. I like to call him Professor X because he's just that dude when it comes to that. No wheelchair though, you know. But he's a walking testament of what life throws at you can make the best out of you. So, you know, Brian James, talk to the people, man, before we bring him in.
You've shared with me your experiences with him. I'm excited to meet him. He's cut from the same cloth as us. Grateful for a second chance, right. Capitalizing on that second chance. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing the story, digging in and see what brought him to this clothing line, what built him, what made him.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. So, you know, without further ado, we're going to bring the man in. Can we get Professor X on up in here? Come on in, man. I got to stand up and greet my brother. And I still got the same pants on I had in the halfway house, just so I can show him I keep my memento.
Nothing changed.
Knock it over now. Knock it over. What's going on, bro? What's good, champion?
Great to see you. Great to see you, man.
Have a seat.
Happy
Let's
to be
get
here.
into this.
Yeah, let's do it. My name is Xavier Contreras. I'm CEO. All right, I got to start over. Okay, all right. My name is Xavier Contreras. I'm founder of Second Chance Apparel, where we cultivate change and give back 10% into giving back to others, giving second chances to others. I'm a father. I'm a husband, formerly incarcerated, with a story to tell.
Yeah. All right, so this is a special one for me. It's a special one for Brian because not only were you incarcerated, right?
Yes.
How long did you do?
I did 6 years.
So you know.
And you've been out how long?
1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 year and has a clothing line. And I don't know if anybody has seen the post that I've put up of the Second Chance clothing. He's taking a clothing line and has a brand, but he's also giving back at the same time. He hasn't reached like this multi-million-dollar status, and he's like, well, now I can give back. He's like, nah, I still have enough to give back. So you're juggling. Are you on parole?
Yeah, I'm on parole.
So
still on an ankle monitor. I can only stay within the city limits within LA County. So I have a lot of hoops and things I have to juggle with, but got to make it happen regardless.
And by ankle monitor, you're talking about a tracking device.
Yeah, GPS. Yeah,
Okay.
GPS that I have to charge twice a day, every 12 hours. If not, I get a violation, and I could either be sent back to prison or they extend my parole.
Take us back. Let's start from the beginning. I mean, obviously, it's been like a hell of a road getting here to the amazing clothing company that you have right here. Where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about your childhood, your family, your hopes as a kid.
Yeah, most definitely. So I grew up in Pacoima, California. It's a little city in the valley, in LA County.
Pacas.
Yep. Yeah. So growing up there, you know, you're already set with obstacles set before you. You know, there's not a lot of there's a lot of poverty, not a lot of opportunity, not a lot of good role models. And going through that and just seeing my family, you know, a lot of my family's coming out. You know, my dad was involved in gangs. You know, he's from the neighborhoods. That was what my role model was. You know, my father, my cousins, my uncles. It's just that's all that was around me. So
you're born into it. Then.
Born into it. You know, so just groomed and you know, I remember my dad teaching me, hey, rule number 1, never leave the house without a strap. You know, that was when I was 4 years old. He went, showed me in the car, and that's just something that I always stuck with me, you know. And just little life lesson was always just directed and to the gang life, you know. And I had a great mother, and she loved me, you know. I had a great sister who was there for me my whole life, and really was
Nancy
a big factor. Yeah, my sister Nancy. Not a lot to talk to her because I'm on parole right now.
Right.
But, hopefully,
you can't even talk to your own sister.
Can't even talk to my own sister.
It's a violation of parole.
Violation of parole.
Can I ask, how does that affect you? Like that like this is your sibling. This is deeper than black and white. This is deeper than a courtroom. This is my family, and you're telling me that I can't associate with my own flesh and blood. Like, how does it create some type of just anger towards the system? And you have to have some type of feeling like, hold on, like.
Yeah, so I learned to direct my anger, and I try not to be angry, So I'm really I feel a lot, so it really makes me sad. I want to see my sister. I want to spend time with her. I want to be able to take pictures with her. I want to be able to go out on vacations with our families and just do everything you want. My sister raised me. She was there from I came out the womb. She, you guys, a little context. That is actually my crime for my case.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you that. So the case that you're on that you did the 6 years for, she was your co-defendant?
Yes.
Okay.
She was my co-defendant. So I can just touch back into that story if you guys want. So the way that happened, so I had a rough childhood. Ended up getting involved in the wrong people at a young age and just having wrong role models, and there really wasn't any outlet. I eventually found sports. I started playing basketball, got really competitive in it. I loved it. My family knew it. I was dedicated every day, putting in time, putting that work in. Like 10,000 hours, that it was there. I was doing my thing. I got recruited sophomore year to play at Polytechnic in Sun Valley. The reason why I went over there was because they had 4 guys going Division I basketball, so it would have been better for my career. I'll get more looks. But during
shooting guard, were you shooting guard?
I was a point guard.
Okay,
point guard. I score though. I score everything, all around player. Man, I'm just like,
I'm gonna let y'all know the boy got game, right?
Yeah.
I can't play basketball for shit. And he got out there, and he embarrassed the brother out there. I don't even get on the basketball court no more. I'm out there playing handball.
You breaking all stereotypes.
He come through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
I'm putting them on stretchers, breaking ankles, we're doing all that. Yeah. I even had a shootout with Miss Tish. Remember?
Oh, I was out there.
Yeah, I beat her in the shootout.
The director of the halfway house. He out there, back up off me. Spin move, yeah. She was a professional college player, and he took her to the hole, and she was like, oh, okay, he got the juice.
Yeah, so you get recruited to Polytechnic.
Yeah. So I get recruited to Polytechnic. I go, they offer me, oh, you get all these clothes. We're going to hook you up, play for free, travel, get all this attention. You're going into your junior year. You'll get a lot of looks. It'll be great for your career. I love it. They're doing personal training, everything. All right, let's do it. So I move in that direction. We end up going to a tournament in Vegas. My coach asked me, "What's up, man? You don't want to play?" Of course, I want to play. He's like, "Okay, well, use another. One of the other players. I get his jersey, put it on. I play. No problem. Cool. I did it. Played. Had fun. Did a good game. Thought nothing of it. Right. So we're going back. It's getting closer to the school year. During that tournament in Vegas, the other teams in the league took pictures of me playing another person's jersey because they knew who I was. I was involved in a lot of the travel ball and stuff. So they sent it to the school district, and I wasn't allowed to play high school basketball for the rest of my career. So that kind of transition. Yeah.
What message does that send? Walk us through what's going on in your mind. So that sounded like you're shot out of this like impoverished area that you're in, difficult situation with your family. So was that the point when the left turn happened into negativity?
Yeah. So that was I was directing my energy. I get really hyper focused on things, So I directed all my energy into basketball. That's what I love. That's what I was passionate about, So that kept me away from all the gang life and all the violence, during my early teenage years, 14, 15, those are the times where I was already kind of stepping away. And from that situation, seeing the coach was only suspended for 6 games, and I was suspended I can't put myself in the game, I can't go and everybody who plays sports knows a player can't put themselves in a game. Right. The coach put me in there. He's responsible, so it was a huge deal. I'm a young kid. I have a future. He's 50 years old. You know, he already lived his life. Why take a young child's opportunity and for a career to get a free education?
He's just looking for the W.
Just looking for the W.
And then you're already noticing the disparities. He did he lost 6 games, you said?
No, I didn't say he lost 6 games. Well, he got suspended for 6 games. Yeah, so
6 games.
So yeah, that's all. So it was a slap on the wrist for him, and you can continue to coach forever, which he continued to coach. And it was such a like troubling situation. The athletic director of 25 years for my school and the athletic director for 20 years for LAUSD both retired over the incident because they felt empowered. Like, hey, you guys are doing this kid wrong. I no longer want to work for you guys. And there's a big article. There's an article on it on LA Times and everything. Yeah, it was a thing. So that kind of transitioned my little spiral, and then I started getting in trouble. You know, going to the halls. You know, getting on house arrest.
Why? What do you in your mind? So you're like, fuck this then.
Yeah, fuck everything. Like, this is all I had. This is everything I put my life into every day. You know, my family knows, like, every day I was working towards this goal, and I was becoming great, and I was starting to get the recognition and I started seeing the vision come to life. And all that was taken away from me over one game that I wanted to play in Vegas and a coach who put me in there. You know, I can't put myself in the game. So I got angry, you know. I got very angry. My mind shifted, you know, wasn't positive anymore. I started hanging around with the wrong people again, you know, the people who aren't in sports, you know, the people who aren't involved in good things, you know, the gang members, the homies and stuff. And that's when I started getting into bad things. Fast forward a few years, when I'm 18, 17, I found out my wife's pregnant. So
is that 18 years old?
17.
Okay,
so
17 years old, yeah.
So I'm 17. My wife at the time is 16. It's my girlfriend at the time, not my wife yet. My wife now. Shout out to my wife, you know.
Yeah. Shout out to your wife.
My wife.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, she's gonna make sure I have my ring on here. You know, I don't know.
Put it up there.
Yeah, right here, camera.
There you go. Yeah,
good.
you got
Okay,
it on.
cool.
I see.
Yeah, but yeah. So I found out she was pregnant, and that again snapped in me. I was like, okay, I gotta focus. I gotta do good. I gotta change, and I did change. I just started working. You know, I was still in high school at the time. I was like, look, I have to support my family. I made a decision. I'm not gonna finish high school. I'm just gonna start working to provide for my family. I was doing that, and
where do you think that came from?
It came from I didn't want my son to have the life that I had. I wanted my son to have a different life. I didn't want him to go through the struggle. I didn't want to have him go through abusive childhood, having a dad who's a drug addict who beats you, who's showing him the wrong things in life, having no influences, just not having someone there to love, care, and nurture him. Like that's what a kid needs, you know. That's what a boy needs. You want to have a father figure, someone to look up to. If I'm looking up to my uncle or my cousins who are spending the rest of their life in prison, you know, I when I was younger, I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to, you know, do some time. Maybe I'll see him in jail. You know, I was like that was my mindset.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucked up because that was my only influence.
Yeah.
It was the only thing I had to look up to.
You look at it from a perspective. So I recently seen an incident that's been going around on social media and on the news and stuff where there was a kid in the classroom and the kid was getting jumped by kids, and he ran to the teacher and tried to run behind her. And the teacher reacted in a manner of, hey, that's sexual assault.
Yeah,
he says they're trying to jump me. So at the age when you were going to the basketball, this is your dreams snatched out from under you. And
thrown under the bus by like an authority figure, like a coach.
So it's that same parallel.
Scapegoated him.
If children don't have a place to go, and the people that they go to as a resource of protection, if they feel like they're not going to protect them, what other option do they have? So do you blame them for going to go pick up a gun and go into the streets? Because now they have a means of protecting themselves. And then you went into the stage of, how old were you when you found out your girl, wife now? Was
17.
17. Now look at the level of maturity that he has to have over this time span. So you're like, all right, these people can't protect me. I have to protect myself.
Yeah.
Then the child came in. So you have, it's like a conflict of interest within yourself. I'm in the streets, but I have this innocent being coming into the world, so I want to do the right thing. It's somewhere, for me, growing up, that was a identity crisis stage. So it's like you're juggling a lot at 17. You know, the recent laws have passed. You're not officially an adult or at the peak of maturity at the age of 25. So you're advanced. And you know what they say, you know, discomfort makes you get up and hustle harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So is it safe to say it was molding you, but at the same time that fire was brewing within yourself and you just like you're trying to guide it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, most definitely. Like I totally agree with what you're saying, the mindset, and I actually saw that video you're speaking of, and I was like, man, like that's messed up. That kid's over here getting, you know, beat up by some other dudes, and the teacher just now accusing him. Now he's gonna get in trouble.
Yeah,
That
sexual
he can have
assault.
a sexual assault, and you already know how that works. You know that's a bad line, a road to go down, and anybody's life. You know, for a kid who's just going through, you know, some shit, he's getting beat up on. You know, help him out. You know, so yeah, having that authority figure. I looked up to my coach. You know, I looked up to him as a father figure. Not having a father figure there, he brought me in. He was taking me to eat. He was taking me to my games. He was taking me at practice. You know, when my mom wasn't there, he was doing all that for me. So, you know, he was giving me free clothes, giving me shoes and things like that. So to have him turn my back, it's like at that point I was at fuck the world. You know, I got to get it myself. I started living my own at that time too, around 15, living, you know, from place to place with
At
my
15?
sister. Yeah, 15.
So you're in the streets at this time?
Yeah, right. I'm in the streets. You know, when you're in the streets, you gotta do whatever you gotta take to make money. You know, so whatever that took, I made ends meet. You know, whatever I thought was ends meet at that time, which started doing drugs. You know, you know, it just
What you
spiraled
saw
down.
growing up.
Exactly.
What
I was around. You know,
You emulate that same behavior. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're really a product of your environment. You know, you show me. There's a book I read, and it was the second man to step foot on the moon. I read this in prison. This kind of like really shifted my mind. It was the most impactful thing I ever read. It was show me who your friends are, and I'll show you your future. It's, you know, you just show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. But a lot of my friends were older, so show me who your friends are, I'll show you your future. And I sat back in the cell. Look, all my friends, everybody who I'm working with, or everyone I consider friends, family, whatever the case may be, they're all spending the rest of their life in this cell. Yeah, they may have money. Yeah, they may have you know, yeah, they may be powerful, whatever the case may be. They're sitting the rest of their life in this cell. They're unhappy. They're miserable. You know, they're never going to see the freedom. They're never going to see the day of life. And I was like, is that where I want to be? And I made that decision. That's not where I want to be. You got to change your circle. You got to change who you're around. You got to change the whole mentality, you know. Show me who your friends are. I'll show you your future. And I didn't want that for my future.
And not to mention the rest of their lives in prison or in jail or in a cell. Let's even go a cage. That's what it is. It is a cage. A cage is meant for animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see and it's sad to say a lot of men have become content with their environment. Mm-hmm. They make the means to get the money. They make the means to get the power. But at what cost? You've become comfortable with your environment. The cage is nothing to you. You're content with it. That's not a normal state of mind for a human being. Something has triggered in there, and the wires have just been cut short.
Yeah, because, you know, humans are naturally built to adapt to any situation. We come to adapt to prison. You know, every yard we go to, you know, we don't like change. You guys ever like transferring? No matter if it's a lower yard, better
or opening up a yard. Oh, no.
Yeah, no one likes none of that. You know, we want to stay where we're at. We want to stay in the same cell. Go ahead, keep us in that same situation for years. We don't like change, you know, and we learn to adjust because we know what change comes. It comes with the long sleepless nights. It comes with the transfers, shackled up for hours. You know, it comes with the sitting in cells,
The flashlight in your face,
flashlights,
7 times a
smacking
night.
the door every 30
and then talk
minutes.
about the court process, how they break you down when you're going through the county, waking you up at 2:00 in the morning. Court, that whole process is meant to break you. I don't want to go to court. Fuck it, give me time. I'll take my time. I don't want to go. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to go through all this shit. Going to court line, you know, running. You know how courts is. You know, everyone's running fades right there. Everyone's fighting. You know, it is what it is. You know, that was the life that I was in at that point. But it's like I'm just trying to go to prison so I could get cheap food. You know, better phone action, and you know, just chill. Like that's how they break you.
That's
there,
the
you know?
mindset, like of a child, because you're a child.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm 18.
Yeah.
In the county.
Yeah. I mean, by the law, under 25 per the science, like you don't have any of you didn't have role models. You didn't have any C. So like, while, you know, we don't excuse that. It's just an explanation. Mm-hmm. So when did you get incarcerated? What age did you get incarcerated?
18. So the way that happened, like I said, I was starting to do good with my life. You know, I realized I'm gonna have a child. I want to do better. You know, I don't want to be my father. I want to be that was just, I remember when I was a teenager, that was what my mindset. I want to be better than my father. That's all I ever cared about to my son. I want to be there. I want to be president. I started working, doing good. And my sister, I get a call one day, and I found out that my sister's boyfriend, beat her from head to toe, dragged her through the streets, pulled her by her hair, knocked her toenails off, her nails in her hand, had drag marks all over from her body, and you know.
You get a phone call.
Yeah, I get it. She's in the hospital.
Where are you at when you get this phone call?
I believe, I don't remember the time or place. I'm either at home or at work. I'm more likely at home because it's probably during nighttime. I get this call. I started seeing the gravity of the situation and seeing what's going on. And me, that's my sister. I love my sister more than anybody in this world. She raised me.
You're seeing
We've
red.
been through everything. Yeah, I'm seeing
imagine.
red. What can I do? You know, like I was put in a very tough situation, and I had anger, and I had to do something. That's my sister. You know, I have 5 sisters. I grew up with women. You know, all women who love me and care for me. So I have a real strong passion for women, you know, and I feel like I need to care and protect. And I remember seeing my mom get, you know, beat up, you know, when I was younger.
Oh, so this is triggering.
Yeah, this is triggering. I see
Yeah,
my,
okay.
you know, my mom going through all the toxic boyfriends she had in her life. So this is like, I always wanted to protect her, you know, no matter what. I always want to protect my family and all the women in my life. So this triggered me, you know, and I had to do something. So we kind of calmed down, and my sister called like, hey, you know, we got to go get our, like, I got to get my stuff. You know, she's out the hospital now, you know, a little more healed. I believe it's about a week or 2 later. I'm not 100% sure.
What's your initial thoughts when you're hearing that, you know, your sister, you know, the love of your life, the woman who raised you, what's your initial thoughts at this time?
The initial thought, I felt so disrespected because I know that man. We were living in his house. So he was living in my house. I would let him wear the shirts off my back. I gave him my own personal clothes. When he came, he moved from Texas with nothing out here to California to pursue his rap dream. He was a rapper, had signed to Atlantic Records. He was doing his rapping career, and we helped him. Me and my sister, we gave him our home. We opened our doors. I gave him the food off my table. I gave him the clothes off my back, you know, because that's just the type of person I am. And for him to do that to my sister, like, that just broke me.
I can imagine.
That took me to like a whole nother place, you know, like the disrespect, like for everything we've done for you, you know.
You still feel it today.
You know, it's not anger anymore. It's more like it's hurt, you know.
I get
hurt,
it.
you know.
Yeah, I get
it's real. It's real touchy.
I couldn't imagine,
sensitive,
like,
you
you know, I got a sister that
Yeah,
I love to pieces, so I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
For me, because I was in New Delano 2009, and I got a letter. I got a letter from my mom, and she said, you know, I heard my sister was pregnant. That's how, you know, I talked to you about it briefly, and I told you that I got a letter, and she said, yeah, you know, your sister is pregnant, and the person that she told you she was pregnant by, and it may have been a blessing that it was a blessing that I was in prison. I said it like this, I was gonna kill this man, not kill, murder. Because I would have thought it out and carried it out and did it and been content with it and went to jail and sat and did my time and been absolutely cool with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like your mind state. You felt a certain way and you had to protect your sister because, come on now, the law don't give a damn about, you know, our community. It's just one more on the docket. And I got the letter and it said, yeah, your sister was kidnapped, raped, and impregnated by this man who's closest to the family. And it tore me up because you have that feeling like I couldn't protect you. You know what I'm saying? To this day, I feel regret because I couldn't protect you. I got 7 sisters and I couldn't protect you. Where am I at?
You're sitting alone in a box, like carrying this. Was this incident that we're talking about right now related to the crime?
Yeah, this is leading up everything to my crime conviction. This is how everything stemmed from, you know. So I can go back into the storyline. So once I find that out, my sister gives me a call. I'll never forget the day. I'm on the way to the movie theaters. My wife's pregnant. You know, at the time maybe she's 4 or 5 months, and my sister's like, hey, like, you know, I want to go get my stuff. I have my stuff here. You know, got a couple of friends. You know, in case he gets crazy, he's, you know, a big man. You know, he's 6'4". You know, tattoos. Supposed to be this gangster. You know, rapper, whatever. So I was like, of course, I'm my sister. Let's go get your stuff. You know. So we go over there. We walk in there. Knock on the door and lets us in. Things got out of hand. We ended up, you know, I'm hot. I'm mad. What am I supposed to do? You
Understandably so.
Yeah. So, you know, I ended up beating him up. You know, we got my sister's stuff, beat him up, broke, you know, maybe a finger. You know, no crazy injuries. You know, nothing even that bad. We left. I thought that was the end of it. You know, he got what he had coming. You know, we wanted to do more. You know, I was at a point of anger, and luckily, you know, we didn't do anything more. You know, we had that self-control, and we left. We left after that, and he ended up going to the cops and telling about the situation. And just to be clear, he wasn't anywhere damaged like my sister was.
And for the record, he didn't tell what he did.
No.
Yeah,
So,
That's what I thought.
no.
Yeah.
That's why I want
He
to
didn't
go back.
yeah,
For the record, he only did one day, not even a day. He got released right away from jail for what he did to my sister. Nothing happened. Because my sister's the type of person who she knows our families, and she's not gonna put someone else in a situation where we wouldn't want to be. And we understand what prisons like. We visit our families there. You know, we know what it's like. Why we want to do that to someone else? You know. And that was our mindset. We take care of our stuff on our own. So she didn't say anything, of course, you know.
Even going through that abuse, that traumatic situation, still in her mind, you know, that goes to show the nature of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see you in a cage because that's not right.
And she's his protector,
Right,
raising him. Yeah.
You know, just even after you did all this,
Yeah.
I still don't want to see you in a cage.
Yeah.
She better than me.
Yeah, way better than me.
She better than me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she way better than me. That's
So this guy did, and you know, what I was thinking about is you telling the story. So this is like his second run at like trying to like elevate above his circumstances, you know, the basketball thing. You got thrown under the bus. And now this, you know, and the man who actually did it, you said did a day, you said?
Yeah, not even that. He got he bailed out.
So the continued messages that he's receiving, you know.
It's like, yeah, the law. What am I going to go to the justice system for? Like those are we seen it every day, bro. We were inside there. You seen it every day. You seen it on the news. Oh, guy does this to 13 kids, and you know, go right in, get right back out. Or this guy does this guy does that. And you're wondering, like, in your head, I ask myself this: what type of monster am I?
Yeah.
If you get the minimum, and I'm way up here.
What's the message?
What type of person am I? I must be. It changes your psyche. I must be like a really bad human being. I must be what they describe me as.
You know, as we grow, we learn. Obviously, I'm assuming you would handle that different today. You know,
of course.
But I remember having a conversation with somebody right before I got out. His younger sister had been molested by somebody close to the family, and we're sitting there, and his initial thought is, of course, like, you know, I want to get this dude. I want to send somebody to get this dude. But as we continue to talk, this isn't our new mind state, like in our change. I remember we talked about, so what would be best for the girl? Like, say we did go beat this guy up, which is, you know, this is what we've been doing our whole life. Obviously, we've learned it doesn't work. You know, you could beat this guy up, you could kill this guy, you could do whatever, but how does it benefit this poor girl? And I remember we came to the conversation, it said, you know, we're going to let God handle him, and we're going to zero all our energy onto this girl right here. But unfortunately, we don't have these thoughts at these times. These are not the messages that you were learning growing up. This is not what your family, you know, the older gang members. So again, this is not excusing the behavior. It's only explaining it.
Yeah, because I mean, you think we all come out of the womb fresh little baby, right? And if you're put into a certain household who's teaching you these thought processes from the baby, like learn to talk about your feelings, learn to communicate, learn to love others, learn to share your negative energy. You could deal with negative energy, you know, anger, all that stuff positively. You know, there's great ways to do that. But us growing up, we see our dad when they get mad, start hitting people, start beating people up at stores, start smashing them away, it's getting shootouts. You know, you see your cousins doing the same thing. You see, that's all you see. What else are you supposed to know? You know, when you're stuck in these cities, when you're stuck in these spots in LA or whatever, how many times you guys went to travel across the country or go see the world or do anything like that? We're stuck in this. I know homies, people in prison who they never left their city their whole life. They never will.
Yeah,
you
outside
know?
of their I talk to guys in prison that literally never left their section, like
Never.
that radius that they lived in. Never had any experiences outside of that.
And then it's like something we said earlier. If you knew better, you do better. You know, and we didn't know better. We didn't know better, and it took us going through our experiences, through 6 years, 30 years, 15, 20, whatever the time we did, to learn this, you know. But if it was taught for us at a young age, we could have just skipped all that, been at our own podcast already, been having our clothing brand, doing everything we want to do, and skipped all that negative shit, waste of time. You know, I don't like to call it waste of time, because it made me and it made all of us who we are today. It brought us all together to where we're at today, and that and alone, our stories are powerful. And when we share with others, you know, we can help give inspiration, you know, show how we came from such shit. You know, everything's possible. We can do anything. Everything's in a mindset. When I was stuck in that cell, I wasn't sad. I wasn't depressed. I was happy. I had a strong mindset. I'm not gonna waste no fucking time. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna do positive shit. You know, I'm gonna make money. I had to make money. I made money. I did whatever I had to do to survive. You know, I wasn't gonna waste any time. And in all my pictures, all my booking pictures, I'm smiling, every single one of them. You can see a big smile. The cops ask, "Oh, you're happy to be here?" No, I'm not happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to still be around. You know, because we have so many friends and loved ones who are still not there with us. You know, and I was lucky enough to have a date too, and I appreciate just that, because you see everyone walking around, everyone has life. L's are thrown away left and right for everybody. You know, it's like you become accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you become accustomed to that crash. Like, you expect to crash one day and spend the rest of your life in jail. There's no other way. Like, you just crash your whole life. You know, that's like it's like I was sentenced. You know, I got 2 strikes on me. It takes me doing any little thing, and I get striked out, and that's it. It's over for me. You know, and having that held over your head, you really got to move cautious with anything.
So do you guys ultimately end up going to trial together? Were you guys convicted together? Like, did you guys receive the same sentence?
Okay, so let me tell you everything that happened. So I don't think we really touched on that. So we ended up leaving the apartment, going on with our lives. My house ended up got raided. That's how I knew, okay, like, this dude told, we were trying to figure things out. We spoke with some lawyers, like, see what's going on, and they were telling us, like, oh, you're gonna get life. And I mean, we didn't think it was a big deal, you know. We didn't do nothing that wrong. We justified it because, I mean, shit, you know, he did worse to my sister than we even did to him. Right. Like, he did 10 times worse. You know, this is nothing. And so we're on the run. We know they're looking for us, but we're trying to do everything, you know, the right way. We want to try to, like, save up money, see what we can do. You know, we're young. I want to be there for my son's birth. You know, my wife is pregnant. She's 5 months pregnant. You know, so I'm just like, I want to stay out until my son's born. At that time, I'm like, fuck it, Mexico. You know, that's what I'm like. We're trying to figure out solutions, and I'll never forget it. We went. I wanted to go home that night. I had like a good day with the family. I was like, man, I want to go home, have a nice dinner. My mom made me a nice steak dinner. You know, we had ice cream. It was like a beautiful time with my family, and a nice, beautiful time in June. You know, it was summertime, and the next morning I get a call. It's around 6 o'clock. My mom calls me and said, hey, there's cops at the park across the street. And I was just like, yeah, you know, it's not really, you know, I was like, okay, they're always there, you know, but I go outside, and, you know, I go to smoke, I smoke weed at that time. I go to smoke my backwood. I'm looking left to right, and I see a minivan go around the circle of my cul-de-sac, and I'm like,
it's
okay,
the Johnnies.
all right. And then I see a Nissan, and I'm just like, I know every car on my street, you know, everybody, you know, you live there, you know, everything that goes on, you know, the booming, you know,
Hop out boys.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, it's either somebody, but it's too early for somebody. So I thought, okay, it's the cops, you know. I was like, okay, like, I think they're here, and I seen a Charger parked at the end of the street. So I tell my sister, hey, like, I think they're here, you know. My mom said the cops at the park. Let's just get in the car and let's get away. And at the time, my sister has her son, my nephew. He's 6 years old, and my wife is 6 months pregnant. So we leave them both at the house, and we get in the car, and I'm driving away, and I make a left, and I see the Charger. I'm like, oh, it's not following me. Like, it's good. And it pulls off the opposite way. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm going. I'm like, I think we're all right. I pull off to the main street, and I'm like, all right, I think we're good. Let's just turn around. Let's pick them up. Then we'll take off, and we'll come back ever again. Whatever. I bust a bitch.
Hit you with the, hey, he's on to us.
I seen the Charger.
Off.
Yeah, I see the Charger. I pass. Boom. I take off.
Is it one of the things where the blue light just pops up, where they pop?
No,
up?
they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't put any sirens, nothing.
Okay.
So they because they couldn't have gotten me. So I'm going. So I turn into my street. I know my little area good. I drive up, hit the corner. I see the Charger pass me, but then I go hit the minivan comes, the Nissan comes, the Charger comes, the police cars come, and then we're stuck in a cul-de-sac. And I'm just like,
was the goal to, like, be on the run till the baby was born and turn yourself in, or were you day to day at that point?
Like, day to day is like, I gotta figure out how I can not spend a day in jail. You know, that's like my main thing. You know, and then
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's
You're being
exhausting.
hunted.
Yeah.
You're being hunted. Like they're looking for you. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
every block you spin, and it's
And the cool part is they're going to your friends, they're going to family members. Like they're
and they
they're
putting the
applying
pressure on them. You know,
Absolutely.
they going to the girlfriend house. They look, if you don't let us know where you at, we're gonna take them kids.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
their go-to move. We're gonna
Yeah.
take them kids. You don't let us. And, you know, somebody that's unknowing. Oh man, he up over there, and now we got this conflict, and I got a conflict with my baby mama or my girl, and then I have this. You know, it's just a trickle down effect. You know.
So what were the charges?
So the charges. So at first, I thought like, all right, you know, nothing of it. Maybe like a little assault case. You know, we were positive the whole way up. Yeah, we'll be out. First court date, I'm getting let home. Like this is nothing, you know. And then first court date, they actually gave me an offer. So I was charged with torture, home invasion, and they offered me 25 to life.
Usually when you go to a hospital and a woman has been abused, they take pictures, they do the whole thing. They do the whole get down. So they didn't think, well, let me go ahead and look at this, and this will equal this logically. They didn't do any of that. That wasn't used in the case to be like, well, come on now, look at what he did.
From your perspective, why do you think they didn't do that?
Well, actually, they did. So we went to preliminary. We had evidence of him after that situation threatening to kill my sister, threatening to kidnap her.
Oh, so
we
he
had
continued.
everything documented from the hospital of my. I have the pictures to this day of my sister beat from head to toe. All this was submitted to the courts. Everything.
He was a full-blown weirdo.
Weirdo, threatening to kill, stalking, thousands of calls, emails. He was just off the hinges. Like he was just a crazy man, you know. And all this was presented in court. Still didn't.
And why do you think that is? Because he went there and voluntarily gave information. Because
he spoke to the cops first, and that's just what it was.
Remember the rule: protect the snitch at all costs. That gets you judicial immunity.
The first to tell doesn't go to jail. You know?
Judicial immunity. Protect them at all costs. That's the rule.
Despite, like he said, the pictures of the sister. So the trial you guys went through, did you go to trial? Did you take a plea bargain?
Yeah, so we went to preliminary. All that was going on. You know, we had paid lawyers at the time. Our first lawyers were paid. The second one, mine, I had. So you know, you go to preliminary pretty quick. We went to preliminary pretty quick to present all the evidence and everything.
Where are you going to San Fernando or Van
San
Nuys?
Fernando court? You know, they over-sentence everybody. They have a 99% conviction rate.
And they
You're
hand out
losing
football
there.
numbers.
Yeah,
you know?
they're handing out.
You're how old? 18.
I'm 18.
18. How much? Let's talk about fees for legal counsel. How much were you paying for going into the second court hearing? How much had you already given to a lawyer at 18?
So going into the first one, this only got us to preliminary. My family got the money together to put. I had no money at the time. My family got $20,000, $10,000 for my sister, $10,000 for me. So we have both have representation.
So that's $30,000 off top.
And this is not
20,
like
20,000.
ready accessible money that you guys have laying around.
We don't have money.
Yeah.
I'm a kid. I'm 18. I'm barely working. I have a couple thousand here, you know. But like I need that for. Now my wife don't work. You know, my wife at the time, she doesn't work. She has no job. You know, she has to raise it. This is money to help you. You know, I don't know. I might be. I'm thinking I'm coming home in a couple weeks till the baby's born. You know, I'm gonna get out eventually. So they hit us with we wanted to bail out. They hit us with a $1.2 million bail, so we couldn't bail out and fight our case. 1.2 million. Couldn't fight our case the whole time. So we're sitting in there fighting for our lives, you know, and getting broken down by the system. And not only that, now I'm dealing with everything that goes on when you first get into the system. I'm 18 years old.
Yeah, scary.
I'm young. I got like, not only I got something to prove, but I got to survive, you know? Like, I don't have a lot of family taking care of me, you know? Like, at the time, the beginning, you do get that support. But later on, after 6 months, 5 months, you know, everything stops coming in, you know?
As soon as that CDCR bus come on that ride going up from county jail to CDCR, it seemed like everybody after every mile just drop off.
Yep. The farther you get, the farther you
start all over again.
Out of sight, out of mind,
Out of sight, out of mind. So, that was hard for us. And then we ended up going with the public defender, and they weren't budging. They wanted that 25 to life. They weren't budging. They wanted to give us that. So we had to fight our case for a whole year, you know, dealing with all the politics, everything that goes on within prison. You know, it's tough. You gotta fight. We're going to riots. You know, we're doing everything. I'm a kid. You know, we're dealing with everything and running with the car that I ran with. there's a lot that comes with it, you know, no free rides, you know, there's a lot that goes on in there.
Right.
So that was a whole nother journey going along with my fighting for my life.
And that damn. I didn't get to the LA County Jail until I had left YA, and that's a whole nother monster. But just the smell alone of the county jail bus, the smell does something to you. You're going into a building where there are no windows.
Nothing.
I didn't know I was in a holding tank for 3 days straight until they came and got me for court. Because they had me in there just sitting in the holding tank, no pillows, no nothing. You're just in there. And 3 days straight.
You didn't know that was a tank?
No, I didn't know 3 days had passed.
Oh yeah.
And I was sitting in a holding tank because there's no windows. You don't know where you're at or what's going on.
You literally count it by the meals. Like, oh, he's my third breakfast or something
It's just circulatory system. And then you got to deal with the rats, the roaches, the bad plumbing system, water flooding everybody. This dude's down here spearing a dude through a cell. You walk past, the dude will spear you, stab you through a cell.
Yeah, they will.
People getting sliced. They're taking rib bones that they get out of the trash and turning them into knives. Like this is, they say if you can survive the LA County Jail, you can survive anywhere.
And by the way, that's why they don't have chicken in prison. Like
bone chicken.
Yeah, bone chicken. Because they made the website.
You see men go into caveman state by any means necessary to survive. And the only way to survive is commit violence. That's the only way. You can't go in there, oh, I'm about to be soft. Because you see, when they pick you up for court.
The only thing they honor is violence.
When they pick you up for court, the sheriffs come in there, they put on tactical gear. They put on knee pads, shin pads, boot coverings, elbow pads, face masks, all that. Oh, you don't want to go to court? We will drag you to court, throw you on this bus, and then drag you off in hog tie and leave you somewhere. So you have to deal with that. The pressure of going to court, the pressure of trying to find money. It costs a whole damn $1 for a 10-cent noodle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
25 cents a minute, talk to your loved ones.
Exactly. 25 cents a minute. So it's just... That's why the rate of suicide is so high inside the incarceration system. And then I don't know how the hell you did it at that age.
Yeah,
I told him to send me to prison. I'm tired of this.
Did you ultimately go to trial? How did that work?
So we ultimately, it was pre-trial. So we were sat down with the decision, right? I didn't want to take a deal. They had no evidence against me. It was just his testimony.
What did they offer? They offered a deal?
They offered me, They offered 16 years, 2 strikes. My sister, because I had another case pending for some other, it was just a little fight. They gave me a year for that, and then they offered my sister 15 years, 2 strikes.
How nice of them.
Yeah, great, awesome. And like me, I told me, my sister, so the cops had compassion for our story. They understood, hey, we would do the same thing. So when we go to court, they would look out for us. They would let us see each other. They'll let us pass a little candy to each other. I was the one in the county with that bomb girl smelling lotion. The woman's pretty. That good lotion, that good shampoo. Shout out to my sister. She was sliding all that to me. So I smelled good.
I was the one with remember the magazines, the smell good with like 9.
Oh yeah, the cologne
in my pocket.
Like, you wear it when you go to visit, even though it's through the glass.
Hot water still up a little bit.
Yeah, the water.
Innovation.
Yeah, with the nasal sprays.
Put it in the nasal spray. Warm water.
So yeah, we came to a time and I was like, nah, I want to go to trial. I really was hard stuck on going to trial, and my sister was like, man, like we knew what time it was if we went to trial. It's either like I would have went home and she would have got life. She was on video, so there was no saying she wasn't there. So it was like, at that point, it was either like, and we weren't gonna tell anybody else that was there. No one else was caught. There was 3 other people there. And they offered us, obviously to go home for that, and we didn't do any of that. We took our time on the chin. That's what we did. A woman, and a brother and sister, we did that.
Was it a sense of responsibility? Like I protected my sister. The man was beating my sister. Mm-hmm. I went back and I did what I did. So like you owned it.
Look at the salary of what an informant gets nowadays. The salary they get paid. An informant annually throughout a year in some states makes $70,000 a year.
Yeah, I read that.
That's more than the average person working at Popeyes and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So some people, hey, I'm going to get caught up. I did something. It has nothing to do with anybody else over here. But since I got caught up, you know what I'm going to do? Hey, I know where such and such keeps this. I know where such and such keeps this. I know where such and such keeps this. Why? You're going to pay me to do it? You weren't doing it because you were scared. You weren't doing it out of fear or anything like that. Or, no, you did it because they dangled the almighty dollar. And everybody knows money is the root of all evil. And they dangled that money. You said, well, I'm just going to go do all this type of stuff. It was my business. I did what I did. I'm going to stand on it and go do what I have to do. You didn't sell out. You stood on what you did and you manned up.
Yeah, took full responsibility for that, and so we were in that courtroom and we just both decided, like, we're gonna take the time, at least we're gonna come home one day. That was the one thing. And I'm thinking at least I'll spend, time with my child one day. 10 years is a lot of time. I never forget. I told her, damn, man, 10 years is a lot of time, and she's like, I know, but it's just.
That's a decade. You're talking about like from a tricycle to a driver's license.
Man,
yeah.
he's your maturity
I'm 18,
level.
I'm just like, I'm never, so it was.
No,
16
the
years,
level of introspection and like
his maturity, even the way he talks, is just he real like, I'm just,
at that age, I'm operating out of desperation, like living moment to moment. So
Right.
kudos to you for that, for sure.
You were mature enough at that age to say, I'm gonna get out one day. Compare yourself to me at that age. When they told me you have 18 years, 2 strikes at 16, in my mind as a child, remember, you're still young, I thought that was life. When you say, you went in there and you did all the positive things, his maturity level and who he is as a person, as an individual.
Yeah.
When I first met him, I was like, man, he different. He got certain qualities about himself.
Yeah, I remember you told me. Yeah.
Me going into prison, man, I was a renegade. As soon as I got there, I thought I had life. I didn't have anything, not even a TV. Went straight in there from foster care. Man, I need a knife. Give me a knife. Oh, he messed up over there. I'm going to go stab him. I'm going to go in his cell and take all his stuff. Survival. You know what I'm saying? It's so you're cut from a different breed, a different cloth. You've been blessed with some stuff up top inside your soul and your heart that's just, it made you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Forced to the fires.
It made you. In Australia, they say you got the kids when they reach 12 years old. The guys from the bush come and take them and say, let's go on a walkabout. They strip them of all their clothes and they have to go walk through the jungle. You went on your walkabout. You walked through the fire and you came out. You went in there. You burnt like a phoenix. You went to the ash and you rebuilt yourself up. And that's a blessing right there.
Yeah,
that's
man.
And
a
even
blessing.
like, it's common in when you're incarcerated. You have life until you get out. That's like what
Exactly.
everybody says. I don't care if you have 2 years. Like I know people that have had 6 months, like, are doing a county lid, and you're in the county and end up with a life sentence.
Yeah.
Get that third strike in there. So ultimately, like any amount of time in prison, you're a lifer until you actually walk out that gate.
Make it out the doors, and me going upstate, we took 16 years. I took 16 years.
You took a deal?
I took a deal. We signed. I took 16 years, 2 strikes, 6 concurrent, 1 upstate with the base term of 10.
What did sister get?
9 years. So she ended up going 9 years, 2 strikes. I got my 1 year in county doubled up. She didn't get her 1 year in county doubled up. And so that's what I ended up taking.
Have you talked to your sister about how that has affected her?
I wish I could, but as the situation that I'm in, we're not even allowed.
You're not even allowed to speak.
We can't speak to each other.
You can't even talk to your own
on the phone.
Well, should we go get
That's a violation. I'll go right back to prison.
Should we get a
Right back to
typewriter
jail.
and a pigeon or something? God damn!
I don't even know. I don't know if I get caught writing a letter. It's like
that's ridiculous.
So it's like it's messed up because in order for me to stay home for my family, I can't talk to the person I love the most.
And here's my thing too. At this stage, it's about healing. Like
Exactly.
When does the healing begin? Like they've never had a chance to heal from this, and we're talking like we're decades down the line.
I mean, you don't mean nothing to a person. You ain't nothing but a docket number.
Exactly. And so we went upstate with that time, and I went upstate with the mentality like, shit, I got 2 strikes. We're getting it right. There's a lot of tension. Like, hey, anything can happen. I remember first time heading to Delano B yard. First week I was there.
The super prison.
Yeah, well, first week I was there, went to yard. I was cool. You get cool with the neighbors, fish,
Sure.
you get to know each other, whatever, little day room time. First yard, that's when I knew, in the county you see a lot, but you never really see booking jail. You're not gonna see your booking, not too frequently. It's more boo bops, removals, getting 39, disciplinary stuff like that. But going there, we went to yard. I seen a whiteboard run up in there, start blasting someone, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, the cop always walks out the yard. It'll be stopped. we came back from yard. No yard, nothing ever went down. I already knew it. Dang, I go walk by. I see him just sitting in his bunk eating a soup, and this guy just blood everywhere. Just chopped him up.
And you're fresh in at this point.
I'm fresh in. I'm just like, I would take myself back to where I was just like
shell shock.
Oh shit, this is real. Like, okay, like this is prison. My first week, my first yard. Like, I'm gonna make it out here alive. Boom, right away. My celly's already been doing time. You know, he's done time before. So at that time, we had all the straps being passed to the cell. You know, so we're making all the straps. I'm making sure. Look, my only thing at that point in my life was, look, I'd rather my family and my son and my wife to visit me here for the rest of my life than to visit me in the grave. You know, right. And that was my mentality, and that's the way I went with it. You know,
that's crazy too, because like, it was my second week when I saw my first like brutal stabbing, and like just the mindset at the time. I remember, you know, we were sitting against the handball courts. This is the Salinas Valley in 1995, 1996, the beginning. I remember my friend tapped me
before I was born.
Get my cane there, sonny.
Before I was even
get off my grass.
Am I 46 or am I shot out 30-year-old?
Shot
good 30, good 30,
shot
good 30.
and healed.
But I remember they walked up to this. He tapped me and he goes, "Look over there." And I'm 18. You know, I'm scared. I'm not even in the front like I wasn't. You know. And they walk up to this guy and they swung a baseball bat and they hit this dude in the base of his neck with a baseball bat, and he immediately dropped. I seen two other individuals walk up and just start stabbing him. Start stabbing. And I remember looking at and everything inside of me was like, I wanted my mommy, I wanted my grandma. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want any part of it, but I forced myself to sit there and stare at it and say, don't you fucking look away. This is your life now. Get used to this. This is your life now. And I like, to this day, like, you know, I can feel the moment. Yeah. Like, we're talking like 30 years later. So I can completely identify with like what that does to some. And you were not ever a bad kid. You were a kid that wanted to be a basketball player. You're a kid that wanted to be a good dad. Granted, you made some bad decisions. I think we can all agree on that. There would have been better options, but you were not left no choice. You were not taught anything different, you know?
And going back to what you said, your mindset, I want to touch a little more on that. You know, going back from the county, right? You start seeing a lot more violence than you're used to. You know, going through the county, you all know how it is. You know, you guys both understand. You start seeing the boo-bop, so you get used to it. That's cool. You know, you're used to fights. That's cool. But now you're going to prison, and the first time you see a stabbing, it's like, oh shit! Like the feeling you get, I get scared. Oh, I'm scared. Like, I gotta be ready. This is real, you know. In county, you don't see much of that. I didn't see it in county. I didn't see no one get hit, you know, unless it was one riot, you know. But the momentum behind it,
the sophistication,
you know, so I see it, and seeing like he's just eating his food. He killed the man, and now he's eating his own. He cooked the hot pot. He put the soup. It was a warm soup.
He killed him and had lunch.
Had lunch after. While the blood's all over him, the knife's still in his chest, and thinking, coming from that feeling to where you were 20 years later, what were you doing when you see someone get whacked on the yard? We become so desensitized to violence. I remember I sat on the yard, and I will never forget this day. And because you're used to always whack, oh, he's gonna get whacked. He's just gonna, oh, he's got dropped. He just got killed. He got hit 50 times. Yeah, it's normal. Yeah. It's nothing. Yeah. Now you're just worrying about, oh man, this better not fuck off my package. Someone's getting killed.
That's what I was.
Don't mess up my package. I want my store still. Like, hey, can you stab him at the end of the yard? You know, do me the favor. You know, that's the stuff we're talking about. And I remember I was sitting there, and this man was bleeding out, dying after a riot, and I remember. It clicked in my head like, damn, I became cold. I became desensitized. And I was like, this guy's getting dragged out. They're trying to save his life. And I'm just like, me and all the homies are sitting there and you know, laying prone out. And I'm just like, oh, look at that girl. She look good, huh? Like, you know, we're talking about why this guy's dying, you know? And we're just so desensitized with this.
If you were to just... For someone that's not in the know, if you were to go help this individual who is bleeding out, what would be the consequence?
Yeah, I mean, you're dead, man. You know, the same thing happened to him. You could expect that right back in any situation.
Probably double.
And the same thing with participation. You know, if you don't participate, they want you to whack someone. They want you to do whatever. If you don't participate, you got that coming too. You know, so it's an environment where you know you got to pull your weight.
People they ask me about prison. I hate talking about violence in prison. I can't stand it.
I'm over it.
I can't stand it. When he talked about the desensitizing, like I seen when I became desensitized. I seen my first one. I seen my first one. I was sitting there, and you know, I went into the mind games of Delano. when it was first opening up, it was the Pelican Bay Kickout. They were sending all the dudes there. We went to all. It's huge as hell. They had zero programming there, and I tried to look away, but my big homie said, "Watch." And I was looking at them, and they just kept. And I noticed this was his homies. He was walking with this dude. It was the same. It'd be the same ones you be walking with.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, come on, homie. Let's holler at you real quick. Oh, yada yada yada. Yep. And it's the positioning. All right, you gonna watch? They're gonna jog. You gonna see them jog. All right. This when the instinct comes in. Later on in life, I had to use that same animal instinct with training dogs. It's crazy how it transfers energy. So you watch the body language, and they made me watch. Look at him right there. He has a jacket on. Pay attention. It's the middle of the summertime. Why does he have a jacket on? Look at the one with the gloves. All right. Look at how everybody has the same hairstyle. Then watch the third lap. Third lap comes around. He grabs him. You hold him. You stab him. And I'm looking. He said, well, watch. Keep watching. Keep watching. And at the end of it, this one is drilled in me. You get into a debt. You disrespect another card. You disrespect a big homie. You make us look bad in the whole entirety. That's going to be you. So let this be a lesson to you. And they always said, we're not going to play with you like everybody else. You a YA baby. You know, we know y'all troublemakers and y'all know how to fight. So we're going to put holes in you. That's when I got my understanding. Oh, I'm not finna do this, because you're not finna have me leaving out here on the stretcher like that.
No, that's prison. You get it's a cold teacher. You get the lesson first, then the test.
Exactly.
And then later, when I became desensitized to the environment, I caught myself leaving from canteen, and it was a stabbing going down. They had took the iron, broke the iron down. About 4 blades.
Nice piece.
There's 4 dudes on one dude. And I'm sitting there like, man, this shit is taking forever. In my head, I'm like, man, this shit taking, man, look, this shit taking a long time, man. Y'all hurry up and kill him. I'm sitting like, man, hurry up. I got shit to do. Oh, man, he messed up. He owed a debt. So what? He know what he was signed up for. We always come with, you know what you signed up for. You knew it. No, we didn't. We didn't know that shit. And I'm sitting there licking the ice cream, watching the man getting killed. Just licking the ice cream like, all right, whatever. Police came in. They ran back out and closed the gate. Y'all ain't gonna help him? I'm not getting involved in that shit. They're not finna stab me.
Yeah.
So then it sees, you understand where the power is at. The power is with the ones that are the most violent. Who's gonna make an example? When that dude did that to that dude and ate that soup, he made an example. He set the tone. Look what I did.
Yeah.
Look what I did. Look at the impact he has on a young man. So imagine everybody else that watched it. Either you're gonna be influenced or you're gonna be pumped with fear. And then me as a black, I realized, I was like, man, it's hard to be a Southsider and a white. It's hard. I said, we got the choice. You know, we majority, we'll beat the shit out of some stuff and go do all that type of stuff. But we always tell, we said, man, watch them essays and them whites. And we use that in a psychological warfare to keep ours in line. Watch the whites. Watch the Hispanics. Watch them. Why are you saying watch them? Because they play for keeps. They don't go out there slanging fists. They get it in blood every single time. They're warriors. And we tell ours, watch the warriors. Take your ass over there and play if you want to. And it's just the psychological warfare. You got the psychological warfare, and then you got the physical warfare. All of it's based on psychological. So I still carry that trauma to this day. I'm pretty sure you do.
Absolutely. And we talk about it a lot. But like what we all have in common right here is that we didn't allow that to be our story. Like we turned a corner.
Yeah.
I'm dying to get to the Second Chance close.
I didn't know all this stuff about him. You know, I seen the good. I would have never in a million years thought all this shit. I would have never in a million years like, man, I literally thought like, man, this was a kid who went to jail, who did a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? In my head, just off his appearance.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this dude gotta have a good ass
so well
family.
put together.
Yeah, I'm like,
the presentation.
I started putting an image on. I'm like, man, he Armenian or something. He come for money. He got a band somewhere. That's what in my head. He got a band somewhere. Perception start coming up like, man, you don't fit the quote unquote build. You know what I'm saying? He has a different. There's something else going on there. So you like.
No, that's how he described you. He's like, this is the type of cat that when he walks in a room, like you're gonna feel it. Like he sucks the energy out of a room. He's a strong presence.
I got another thing because I wanted to get into how was it being a father watching your child grow while being? That's nobody. You know, I really never see anybody talking about what prison does to a relationship, a growing relationship, and what it does to a father trying to raise a child and a child looking up to a father that's behind a wall. So how did that work?
It was hard for me, man. Like I will never forget the day my son was born. You know, I was in North. I was on the phone calling on the payphone all day, you know, telling the homies, hey,
She's in labor.
Let me get in real quick. Let me see if she gave birth yet. Calling all night. I was there just getting back on the phone. Finally, boom, gave birth. But of course, you know, I'm excited. I want to talk, but she just gave birth. Everyone's crying, you know, it's emotional, like hectic and stuff. So, and my wife didn't have a great like birth experience. There's like drama with the family going on and everything. So that was short lived. She hung up on. She didn't want to talk. She's off the, you know, the epidural and all that. So it was kind of like, all right, it is what it is, you know. And me already knowing, I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to hold my son, you know. So like, I want to hold my son. You want to be there to get that connection with your son, you know, that
miracle,
you know, when your son comes out the womb and they smell your father, they know the smell of their father, you know, they're gonna remember that forever. They know who their father is just off the smell, you know. That's very, and me just like not being there, and I felt like a piece of shit father, you know. I was like, fuck, like I wanted to be different. I told myself my whole life, like, I want to be different. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better role model. And look what I'm in prison. I'm in jail and my son's born, you know. It's like, and even when I went to court, I asked if I could hold them, you know, for the first time. They denied that. I didn't get to touch my son until he was almost a year old in California City.
You requested of the judge, can I turn around and hold my son?
Yeah, my family, they asked, my lawyers asked, and they denied it. So I could hold my son when he was first born. Why we took our time, why they sentenced us. They denied that. So I didn't get to lay hands on my son until he was almost a year old in a visiting room.
I have a good friend. He's serving life without parole. He's been incarcerated like 27 years. He has never got a single write-up. Has an immaculate prison program, like a model inmate, a great dude. And the defining moment was when he was in trial. They petitioned the judge, can I give my son? My son was just born. Can I hold him? The judge granted that petition. He turned around. He said, I held my son for about 10 seconds. He said, I was never the same again. Like, those are those moments, like those healing moments that literally like can change a person's future.
Yeah.
You know?
I never forget like that love you have for your son. I'll never forget the experience of me just holding my son and just like the warmth. It was in a visiting room, and I remember I was waiting. You know, you get all dressed up for visit, G'd up, haircut. I went, hands down the back, big old smile, and I just seen him, my wife. Right
when you
there.
walked in?
I walked in, you know, waiting. You have to go check in the little tape. I want to run over there. No, he's 8, 9 months. He's in a little crib, you know. She's carrying him around, you know. And I first carried him, and I'll never forget it. I had him in my arms, and he's wild. My son's wild, and he cries when he's anybody but his mother. He came in my arms, closed his eyes, went right to sleep, took a nap, and never he knew I was his father.
He knew he was home.
He felt at home, you know.
What did that do to you?
That was a special moment for me, you know. That really just like I had something to look forward to. I knew I did. Yeah, man. Like I knew I had somewhere to go. Like I have something more to my life than just me now. I have a purpose. You know, I have this son, and I got to get out as soon as possible. Damn. I did that. That's what like really pushed me on my journey. Like I did a bunch of college, you know, educational programs, self-help programs. Got my GED. Just did anything I could to get my time down. You know, so I went upstate. You know, I had what was it, like 3,000 days. I was supposed to get out I'm supposed to get out in 2024, 2025. You know, cut that down. I got released in April of 2022 from MCRP. You know, and I've been home a year, and you know that really just my son being born has just like started that head hard focus onto let's change my life. Let's change something better for my family. Let's stop this systemic like violence and anger and trauma that goes on through my family. Like, let's stop that here, and let's just give my son a better life. Let's take him to museum. Let's take him to museum, to the park. I love him. I give him the love I never had now that I'm home, you know, and doing that through over the payphone was hard, you know. I'm not an artist, you know. I pay people to draw for me, send all that the pictures home, but nothing's nothing can compare to you being that father figure. So coming home now, like our relationship has changed. He's a amazing kid. He sees his father, and I just try to teach him everything I'm doing. I had him up here in the studio yesterday. I told him, look, anything you want to do in your life, you just follow your dreams. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says to you, the government, the cop. I don't give a fuck. You do what you want to do, and I'm gonna support you, and I'm gonna ride with you forever, because you got to do what you love in this life. Life is too short not to do what you love. You got to appreciate everything. We all understand what it's like not to have, and I understood that at a young age, and going into prison, that's why I gave to everybody. You know me from MCR, I gave to everybody. Anybody need money? When you asked me for money, bro. Anybody, everybody knew it.
My money ran out, my check ain't clear. I need you to let me go. I need to get these donuts, bro. I got a thing for these donuts and that Shasta cola up in that thing.
That Shasta.
But my auntie shared some with our producer Ray the other day. My auntie, she's like the glue of the family. She's real spiritual. I told you about her. And she used to tell me in prison, but I was too bullheaded and too caught in my ways. It was all I seen was these concrete and steel. So this is where I'm at, survival of the fittest. But she used to tell me, and she told me in front of Ray, she said, who are going to be the people that are coming up that are going to break the curse of our community? Who's going to break the curse is the ultimate question. And I'm seeing the things that you have going on. Now, if people don't know what MCRP is, this is MCRP GeoCorp, probably one of the most biggest private prison-owned things, probably
for profit,
based out of Florida. Because remember, we tried to actually get the dog program
everything.
there.
We tried to do so much.
Fly in on the helicopter. We like, look, we got this dog program. Zach came out and sat down and all that. We're really pushing this. We basically lived in a airplane hangar in the industrial part of Long Beach, Northside Long Beach, 69th. And it was that Cherry and Artesia. Next to a meat processing plant. Behind it was a hot sauce place. Next to it was a rubber factory. And right in front of it was a weed dispensary.
Every day.
That blew up. It blew up one day. All right. But in this place, there's COs there. And you have bunk beds in these little cubicles. There's no roof. You have to do 60 hours continuous on a blackout period before you can actually go out and get a job. There's no going to chill with your family, none of that. You have to ride a bike. And it's just a lot of bullshit that goes on in there with just people not having a mind right. So I was there, Tish just like, all right, farmer, go find me some people that we can get to do this. So we had people that cleaned, we had people that did this.
Is it like a rehabilitative environment, or is it like a stale,
to an extent based on you have to really want it.
Yeah.
Like we led the classes.
Yeah.
We led the classes. So I seen him in the class one day. See him in there, like, who's this dude over here? He kind of tall. I see he got some drip about himself. I seen him Jordans. I'm like, okay, so he ain't the average Joe Smo. And I seen him, then he spoke. I said, he know how to talk. He doesn't have that and he doesn't have that chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Humility.
He doesn't have that, I'm too hard for the yard. Bro, you're in a halfway house. We know you're not hard for the yard.
Yeah.
Let that shit go and stand on your put your big boy pants on and walk that walk.
Yeah.
And I noticed that he stood out. It was you, it was my boy Duke. And we had certain things going on. We're like, man, how can we do something for kids? Mind I say, I used to come and bug him every night. For real. I used to bug him every night.
At the time, I was leaving the program at 5 a.m, riding my bike from Long Beach all the way to Inglewood, the SoFi Stadium, do electrical all day, ride my bike all the way home, come back 6 o'clock, get my little shower. I'm trying to sleep.
I'm still in prison at the time. I remember him telling me, I ride my bike from here all the way to Culver City to go to work every day.
Missions, and going through that, I'm over here riding through Long Beach, I'm over here driving through Compton,
to the
Artesia shit everywhere, So I'm fresh out of prison, running into all these different. That's a whole nother thing, environment we're in. It's crazy.
So we found ourselves. I knew you find yourself being in conflict with dudes that haven't been outside the house yet. So they're still in there on bullcrap prison politics. And I used to say in class. Remember, I used to say in class, I'm like, think you have problems in here.
Yeah.
Doing this. When you walk out that door, you're going to need your brother. You gonna need your brother that you in this halfway house with. Why? Because the outside world is something that you're not familiar with. You don't know how to ride the train. You don't know how to ride the bus. You can't take a dude, per se, if you're from the Valley and put him in Compton and say, hey, go about it. No, you need somebody that's from Compton to be like, look, bro, don't turn this street, don't turn this street. Ride over here. When you ride through this neighborhood, speed up a little bit. When you go over this bridge, for real, like, for real.
No, I'm laughing because it's like a nervous laughter.
Yeah. You have the ankle monitor on. So if you're not back at a certain time,
it's over.
They will lock you up. So then you had the dudes that had the drug addiction in there that was trying to hide it. So I get back from work, he already in bed. So he know when he get in, I need to go hop in the shower, do what I got to do, get out the way. Why? Not because, I need to hurry up. Well, it's kind of so. You need to hurry up before the dope heads get in there.
Yeah.
See, they get in there and they still kicking because they're fresh off the street. So I get back from work. He like, man, what's wrong with you, bro? I said, they done messed up the bathroom. It's shit they go in the shower and just shit on the wall, shit on the floor, literally poop. Disgusting. So I'm in there, fresh off work, scrubbing. He like, you ain't got to do that. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Somebody got to clean it. Yeah. So he started doing it in the morning. I started doing it at night. Miss Tish like put together a group of dudes that we can run some type of fundraiser for or some type of thing for the kids. And before I continue, shout out to that lady.
Yeah.
Because
she does a lot for the kids.
She does a lot for the kids and she has a lot of pressure on her. And if it wasn't for the tools that I learned in there, like I didn't know how to write a check until she taught us how to write a check that day in class. I didn't know about saving money until she forced us to, we're going to take y'all checks and put it into a savings account. I'd have spent all that shit.
And honestly, that program right there is super strong. And I feel like people should have alternative sentencing where they can do their time there. Because while you're there, you can work, you can go to school, you can stack up money, you can build a future for yourself. And why only allow you to do that for 18 months, Why not do a little 3 or 4 year? You do a 4-year program there, you could become a journeyman electrician, make $30, $40
PV
an hour.
Jobs.
You could do anything you want. You could do anything you want. They have to get past their own mindsets, lock them away, throw them away, because it's for money. Everything's about money. That's really what it's revolved around.
Is that where, like, you gave birth to the idea of Second Chance, or did that happen in prison?
Okay, so you want to hear the birth. All right, I'll tell you about the birth. Okay. Look where we were at a year and a half ago. Where were we all at? We were in a cell. And now we're here doing positive things, positive change. That's how my vision came with Second Chance. I started speaking at colleges. Shout out to Sarah. She's a professor at Westmount University, and she's shopping for prison reform. And what she does is she interviews parolees like ourselves. She interviews CEOs, probation officers, and she's just trying to gather data to see what can be done better to help the recidivism rate and what can be done better for the inmates, and trying to get every side to see what can work, what can't work, what they can do. And so she actually I shared my story with her to help with the research and data. And she was moved by my story, and I was willing to speak to her class. So she's been having me as a continuing guest lecturer there. And from that experience, I'm sharing my life story, a little more in depth how I am here, and just kind of getting down to the dirty, the gritty of everything of what we've been through, and just breaking everything down. And that has been powerful for these students. They're 18, 19, 20 years old, young students coming into their lives and careers. And they don't know anything about this life, and to see their life, they don't even know what they have no exposure to this. And me telling them, I have people who I'm inspiring to change and want to change their whole career path just on what I'm speaking, and the power that I'm speaking to them, what I've been through in my story, and they want to do things to change it. They want to do things to be more empowered. And I was speaking and telling them, they're asking what could I do? And I would tell them, oh, well, there's this and that. And I was thinking, how can I be a man and tell these people what to do when I'm not doing it myself? How can I tell you to help these prisoners? How can I tell you to help other people when me, myself, I'm not even doing it? I'm not in a place to tell you where to do it. And I'm trying to, and I can't. I have no direction. Now I know. Second Chance. I'm starting my own clothing brand. This is going to, 10% of profits is going to be used to giving others second chance. And I know me and you have been discussion about that.
Hold on, bro. You said starting, not started.
Started. Yeah, drop coming May 5th.
May 5th, y'all get that. What's that? Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, drop that thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's the drop date coming. And I just really like Second Chance. We all have a story.
Right.
You have a second chance at life. You had a second chance at life. I had a second chance at life. I'm pretty sure everybody watching has had a second chance at life.
So you're not talking about just being incarcerated. Everybody needs a
Everything,
second
man.
chance.
Second chance.
Everybody.
Everybody needs. You can't be a human and say you haven't fucked up and needed a second chance from your mom, your girlfriend, your cousins, your coworker, your boss. Everybody needs a second chance. Everybody can relate. And if we can go and all relate together and give something back to a better cause, why can't we help people like we've discussed, going to the juveniles? And I tell, when I speak at college, I say that we need to direct our energy into helping the youth, being mentors to these kids, helping these children out so they can do better, have someone to look up to. We didn't have no one to look up to. Imagine we had one of us to look up to. I had a me come show me, hey, you can do business, you can make money this way. You don't got to do all that. You know, we find them in juvenile halls, and where they're already broken, they need some help, they need a second chance. We come help them. We be those mentors to them. Look, kid, man, I know where you're going. I know where you're directed. I was there. I was in same cell you're in right now. You know, I know where your future is, prison. I know what it ends up to. We all know what it ends up. We can relate to these kids. Let's skip that process. Let's start making money. Let's start doing positive things. Let's teach you how to get a job, financial literacy. And this is all I want to change. I want to give these kids a second chance, you know, get what I never had. What I thought I had with that basketball coach, but what kind of mentor is that? You know, we know what these kids are been through. You can't take someone who owns a Fortune 500 company and go talk to these kids and understand what they're going through, what they've been through. They could never. They don't understand what it's like to be in those halls and those cells where you ain't got nothing. I'd rather be in prison any day than be in a juvenile hall cell because you got nothing but a mat, bro. Right.
Yeah.
You know, they treat you like those kids are treated way worse, man. Like we as adults at least have programs it's our life, you know, we can live it. Kids, you're getting broken. I seen kids 11 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old with no future, no parents, no family. A lot of people only have bad influences to look up to. So if we come and start making these kids have a program outside where we can introduce them to the streets, get them job readiness, have them start doing civil duties, helping out in the communities so they have an active change, you know, and have a sense of commitment and do change that they want to do. And I can do all this through Second Chance, and that's my vision.
He just mentioned a major point that has been bypassed time and time again. We're giving people or telling people to get all these tools, all these trades, all these educational, you know, certificates. Mm-hmm. But once they walk out of that door, it's just, hey, close the door behind you. Mm-hmm. You're on your own.
Good luck.
People need to get out and be nurtured back into society, not forced.
Exactly.
Not used, not abused with certain things that come with being part of businesses and brands. So it's a beautiful thing, and we've been sitting around talking. We got Mohawk Matt, we got Brian, and we got you, and we're trying to work together with the Department of Probation to go inside, and the kids need the image. They need to see. All right,
yeah,
you got a white, you got Hispanics, you got blacks, and you got Asians, all on the same forefront, going in unity to speak to these kids. Who's going to have more of an impact? A psychologist who's went to school? There's a difference between instinct and intellect. You go to school to learn what we've experienced through life, what's inside of us already.
Yeah, well, you're studying to pass the exam, to pass the test, like where we actually have the actual experience.
So that's the difference. And working with the kids, I swear, you go in, you're going to love it. You're going to love it too. They're different now. They're not like how we were.
Are they more receptive to it?
Yeah, they're
because I remember me at that point. Fuck you guys, don't talk to me. I'm active, you know.
And they feel the energy.
That's good.
They feel the energy and they know where it's coming from.
I think that's what's important. It's anybody could say the message, but it's who it's coming from. Right. They know we've been through it. They know shit. They might know who we are, you know, and just seeing us step out from all the negativity we stepped out from, the prison, the way our minds are structured, the way we thought about things. I remember, you guys remember, if anybody would have called you a bitch in prison, what would you have done?
4 seconds, you better activate.
That's it. Out here, what are you gonna do if someone called you a bitch?
I'm gonna run.
You know, like, who cares, man? Like, it's like our mind was like, we're gonna throw our lives away over like words. You know, it's like our minds were so structured.
Yeah,
like,
I don't give that word that energy anymore.
No energy. It's like any word. Like, why even do that? You know, yeah, of course we have we gotta hold our respect. You know, we hold our account, but like nothing bothers me anymore. I've been through so much. what could possibly affect my happiness and my peace? Nothing. I love myself. I love who I am. What anybody else thinks of me, you know, that's on them. You know, good or bad, you know, I'm myself, and I always will be.
Yeah, before we go, before we end this, break that down for us.
So we got second chance.
Is that the mission
here.
statement?
No,
Okay.
gotta-
Okay. Oh, the message. Okay, let's see.
Because we heard your second chance. Give
So-
the world this.
What I decided to put on this specific collection, just so you know, every shirt is a limited collection. There is only going to be 111 made out of every T-shirt in every color. So by buying this, you're not only helping out, you know, a greater cause and giving others a second chance, but you're also buying into an exclusive collection. And by buying this, you're also able to get access to the pre-sales, which are going to be limited to people who already hold my clothing. And to then it will be dropped to the people who are going to be introduced to the brand, etc. We want to keep it exclusive. Want to have people able to support us as well. And also the beautiful message about this, it's all organic cotton. You can see right here, it's Supima, world's finest cotton. It is trademarked, named the world's finest cotton. Supima cotton is 100% extra long staple cotton grown exclusively in the American West and Southwest. Yards made from Supima cotton, produced softer and longer lasting. You know, it's great quality.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man. We appreciate it. And thank you.
Well, yeah, this is for all you guys. You know, show love. Yeah.
So let me, BJ, you gonna take us out? Take us out, BJ.
I just want to thank you, man. You know, I'm a grateful receiver of a second chance. I'm inspired. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 25 years old.
No, seriously. How old are you, by the way?
25.
25.
It's insane. It's insane. I mean, you give me faith in the future. I'm always going to be a supporter. I look forward to talking to you 6 months from now to see where you're at. I thank you, man, for sharing this space with us. Your story's amazing, man. The world needs more people like you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys taking the time, you know, and having me here, share my story and share my vision. And you guys both have very powerful stories as well, and are very, you know, great men. You know, I commend you for what you guys are doing and what you're trying to do and everything you have done. And I really respect both of you guys and continue. I hope we continue to grow together and build a strong foundation and really actually make some fucking change in this world. You know, let's do this shit.
10 toes down. You know how we gonna step to him, baby. Pressure.
All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Come on, you know we gotta head up there and get it. Chest board, baby. Chest board. No, I ain't doing the chest board.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And it's a wrap.
Riveting. I'm putting my fucking shirt off my chair. We got that shit on film. He gave it to us. Why you being squirmy?